In court today, jurors were presented with a series of text messages exchanged between Cassie Ventura and Sean Combs, alongside images allegedly documenting abuse. These visuals, including photos showing visible injuries such as a busted lip and potential bruising, provided added context to a now public 2016 surveillance video that appears to show Combs assaulting Ventura. Cassie testified that after the incident captured in the video, she went to the home of one of Combs' associates, D-Roc, where she found temporary refuge. Despite this, she returned to Combs' residence that same evening for a scheduled wardrobe fitting tied to the premiere of The Perfect Match. Photos from the event show her accompanying Combs on the red carpet, and she noted that signs of her injuries were partially visible. She also explained how she used makeup to conceal the bruising. According to Ventura, a close friend, who had known her since she was around 19, called the police after seeing her injuries that night. When law enforcement arrived, they inquired about what had happened. Cassie says she chose not to name Combs as the assailant, stating she didn't want to harm him because they were still romantically involved at the time. Observers noted that Combs remained focused during testimony, appearing engaged and making occasional gestures of disbelief, especially when Ventura spoke about being offered drugs either directly by him or through his associates. One notable revelation was Cassie admitting to an intermittent addiction to opioids, which she attributed, at least in part, to her relationship with Combs and the traumatic circumstances surrounding it. Text messages presented in court dated from 2010 to 2017. One message from Ventura reads, "Nothing good comes out of freak-offs," followed by another where she compared Combs' treatment of her to that of Ike Turner, known for abusing Tina Turner. Ventura also described using drugs to emotionally detach from the repeated group sex scenarios she referred to as freak-offs. She recounted suffering from persistent urinary tract infections, to the extent that antibiotics lost their effectiveness. Despite her condition, she said she was sometimes coerced into participating in sexual acts, even while infected, commenting grimly, "I don't recommend it." Cassie described a culture of manipulation and fear, where video recordings of these so-called freak-offs were allegedly used to control her. She expressed deep anxiety about the possibility of these videos being leaked, particularly because of the shame it would bring to her and her family. According to her, the fear of public humiliation kept her silent and compliant. At one point in the proceedings, a prosecutor referenced a text message where Ventura appeared to willingly engage in these encounters. When asked why she sent messages suggesting enthusiasm, she clarified that her responses were driven by fear and a desire to maintain the relationship, not genuine interest. The hotel surveillance video remains central to the prosecution's case. It's considered pivotal because it directly contradicts Combs' earlier denial of physical abuse, especially before Cassie filed a civil lawsuit in 2023. Prosecutors argue the footage exemplifies a broader pattern of alleged abuse, most of which was not caught on camera. Though the defense has yet to begin cross-examination, it's expected that they will attempt to discredit Ventura's account by framing the relationship as toxic but consensual. The defense may try to argue that while Combs' lifestyle might be objectionable to some, it doesn't equate to criminal behavior. Their likely goal will be to challenge the claim that these encounters were part of a larger coercive criminal operation. Ventura testified that she felt controlled, not just by Combs, but also by the network of individuals around him who enabled and facilitated his demands. The prosecution appears to be laying the groundwork for broader charges, including sex trafficking and racketeering, by presenting a long-term pattern of alleged exploitation. Seated behind Ventura in court were her husband and brother, both visibly emotional as images of Cassie's injuries were shown. One particularly difficult moment came when jurors were presented with photos of 13 men who allegedly participated in these freak-offs. Ventura identified most of them by name or appearance, noting that many encounters were repeated with the same individuals. Though deeply personal, Ventura's public recounting of these experiences is, according to her, part of reclaiming her narrative. Her husband, as seen from her social media, has been publicly supportive throughout the proceedings. Jurors were warned early in the trial that they would be exposed to graphic and explicit evidence. While the public and media are restricted from viewing certain videos, the jurors will see them. These videos, the prosecution argues, will illustrate the elements of coercion, manipulation, and abuse that underpin their case. One unexpected moment came during the review of another text message from Ventura, where she stated, "Why don't you call Kim?" A likely reference to Kim Porter, the mother of some of Combs's children. Though her name wasn't explicitly mentioned, the implication was clear. Ventura was expressing exhaustion and perhaps resentment, suggesting that she was not the only woman expected to participate in Combs's demands. Cassie expressed deep shame over these experiences, saying they left her feeling worthless and used. At one point, she even described these encounters as a job, a bleak acknowledgement of what she perceived as her role in the relationship. As the trial continues, the emotional weight of Ventura's testimony is undeniable. The prosecution aims to paint a picture not just of abuse, but of a systematic effort by Combs and those around him to dominate and exploit. The jury will ultimately have to decide whether these acts, however disturbing, rise to the level of criminal conduct under the law.